What is up? It's your boy Rad Bingham, aka Rad's Fault over there. No. God damn it, 3 weeks, man. Over there is Mr. Wolf Craze. What's been up, Mr. Wolf?
Busy as all hell, as per usual, but I'm excited to talk about the list of fun technological shit we got on our list, man.
I don't know how we're going to fit everything in 1 hour, but we do have a fantastic list, without a doubt. Just really quickly, so we can get this out of the way. If you guys miss any of this, you can go onto YouTube or go onto Twitch, and you can also listen to us on Spotify. So, I also wanted to personally apologize. Don't forget about Raise Energy Drink. If you click on our link below, you can get yourself a discount as long as you're in the U.S. Raise Energy Drink. It gives you a boner. No, I got to stop doing that. Yeah, code AHC. That's the code. Sorry, man. Tonight also producing is Titch. You can't see him, but we can hear him. So if you want to talk some shit, go ahead and do it live. He can't do nothing about it. First subject that we want to go over. First subject that we want to go over is the brand new announcement from PlayStation, the PSVR 2 controllers. I apologize to the audience because of the schedules and because of the firewall tournaments that's been going on. We have been having to postpone Tech Talk. We had to do it. We cannot keep going not talking about this. So first, see if my producer can get that. You know, this is what sucks when production gets out of control.
And the best part is that all audio listeners will not know what is going on.
He's got the arrow wrong again. Say, I did the same. And I still did the same.
Hey, you watch it, man.
All right, moving on. We only got an hour.
What's up, Karen? What's up, Cinderella?
All right, so we've got the PSVR 2 controllers first up. I know probably everybody has seen these images. We've got about 3 different views of this. This is pretty much what we saw, I would say, in the patents. This is kind of what I expected. It looks a little bit more sleek and sexy. I don't know about the big old hoop rings, but what are your thoughts on it?
So we look at this new ring, and it's more of an orb shape, right? Mm-hmm. Which is unique. The design closely resembles that of the new Oculus. Skull says, "What the hell?" The new design closely resembles that of what's already in the market, which we've seen with HTC Vive's the Cosmos. We've seen it with Oculus. We've seen it with a bunch of other industry leaders with their designs with those rings in the front. I mean, we look at this one, right? The rings in the front. PlayStation is taking a different approach and putting the ring closer around the wrist, maybe a little bit further up the forearm, depends on how it's ultimately going to sit. But I like this design, mostly. I do have some concerns about it.
I've got some concerns too. What I do like about it is that it will have haptic feedback. If you're one of the proud owners of a PlayStation 5, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. This is something that is very hard to describe. I mean, you can talk about it all night, but you really have to feel it and be with it. Where you get those haptic feels and sensors coming back at you, triggers that are harder to press, or when you pull back a bow, you'll feel the tension in the triggers. You truly do feel this stuff. It's really crazy, the technology, and now they're going to put it in the handheld controllers. I do love that there's not a big gag ball at the end that's glowing red. I do love that it's got a joystick. What I'm concerned about is that when you've got Titch, can we see some other angles?
Yeah, when he's done fucking with us.
What I am worried about is that if you're an owner of an Oculus Quest or an Oculus Quest 2, and you play games, say like Onward or games like Contractors, you'll know what I'm talking about. You've got these 2 controllers, and you're coming. Let's say you're from Firewall. A lot of us are. We love some Firewall. Where you've got an aim controller, you've got the stability in your hand. It brings the real. It makes it feel more real life. Brings you deeper into it, more immersion. But with the Oculus Quest 1 and 2 controllers, you can buy rigs and basically,
Right.
be able to set it up and make it even more comfortable than the aim controller in a lot of different opinions.
Mm-hmm.
But they have the setup for that. You can definitely tell that there's grips that you can do on the bottom of the handles, or there's a ring on this. I see the inside pole here. Titch, if you can pull up the other photos with the rings around the hands for the PSVR.
I mean, that spin is not inaccurate. He definitely hates me more. But yeah, I with the peripherals that you're referring to, like what we have with a Pro Tube or with the aim controller, we are going to be potentially lacking in that area because of the design. The design of the orb, the ring itself, the tracking ring, which, by the way, a sphere in hard plastic is actually much more durable than any other design. From what I'm told, it's scientifically proven. I haven't actually read the research myself, but that aside, where the ring actually connects to the handle really limits its functionality if it were to attach to a peripheral. I am concerned about that, but I was thinking it's not impossible. It's not impossible to create a peripheral where the handheld part, the handle itself, actually attaches to something, and then it doesn't necessarily fit into something. Because we're so accustomed to looking at these. For audio listeners, you can't see, but I'm holding up the controller for the Oculus, right? You look at these, and you're like, okay, you could take the handle and you could put it into a cup that is magnetized to go onto a Pro Tube. You don't have that with this, but that doesn't mean they can't create something where you attach the handle onto a peripheral sideways that is similar. So I've been thinking a lot about it since we're a little bit behind on this topic anyway. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility, but how they're going to do it with this design makes me wonder, what the hell is that peripheral going to look like? And if they're not going to make one, are they going to make a PSVR Aim 2?
That's my prediction. I don't think that they have a choice in the matter. And plus, I think it's a classy thing to do. I think that if you have to buy a side attachment, let's say for Oculus, you have to buy a completely different third-party attachment that in some cases, I've got some friends that paid $250 for their gun stock just to have that immersion and that feel. $250. If and I know there's no way in hell that Sony would come out with an aim controller that's $250, and whatever that they would come out with would have the haptic feedback. It would probably have better tracking and feel way more comfortable than the most average. And to me, it's just a classy move on Sony. It seems like something that they would go the extra mile on because they've got the technology and they can do it. But with this setup, I don't think that we'll have many options for gun stocks. I do see an aim controller in the future, personally.
Yeah, it brings me back to the good old days of the PS3 era. Okay, when Killzone first came out on the PS3 platform, they were implementing the Move controllers. Okay, these pieces of junk that have far outstayed their welcome. Okay, they actually had the sharpshooter. I don't know if you're familiar with that, Rad, but the sharpshooter was, it was like this red and gray looking assault rifle futuristic plastic thing that you put the Move controllers into. I don't see them doing that necessarily with this design, but again, that just showcases Sony's innovative capabilities, what they can actually do with these controllers. Now, going back to talking about what kind of technology they're putting into this, they are putting the resistant technology, as they call it, the DualSense technology into these with the adaptive triggers. They do have the grip button, which if they didn't have that, that'd be stupid. They do have the thumbsticks. If you look back at the original patent, this is a far better design because it more aligns, with greater parity with what's in the market right now. The original design, each controller that you had in your hands had a thumbstick in the middle, and all the buttons, the square, triangle, circle, and as people are saying now, cross, around each thumbstick. So you had all 4 face buttons around the thumbstick on each hand. I think that would have been a little much. But at the same time, I think that would have provided them greater access to doing more with the controllers per hand. And what also differs from the patent design to this design and what they have told us thus far, this has finger sense, but not finger tracking.
Yeah, another big concern.
The original patent suggested and even stated finger tracking technology, which aligned greater with the index controllers, or as people know them as the hell were they called? Grip controllers? Grip.
Right.
So like they have finger tracking, which I think that would have aligned better. But to keep the price down, I'm guessing they had to either maybe pass on that for now and maybe come out with like a pro version of the controllers. I'm not sure. But either way, some of the technology that we saw in the patents has changed either for the better or for the worse. I think that's very subjective. It's based on the person. But the current design as it stands, I think, is a great first step towards what other people in the market are doing. What's up, Revy? How you doing, man?
What's up, Rev?
And I want to talk about the ergonomics a little bit. It looks incredibly comfortable. Like
it does.
Just look at how this person's holding it. It looks incredibly comfortable. And what makes me happy about this design and the way, like just the way you're holding it, first of all, Sony's always been about comfort of holding the controllers. I know they're a big Xbox fan, saying like the Xbox controller is the best one that they've ever had, but that means that they probably never held a Sony PlayStation controller. Those things always feel comfortable and solid in your hands. I can only imagine they're going to do the same thing with this. But what I'm like most about this design are where the rings are. I know it looks silly and that it limits maybe the functionality of maybe peripherals in the future, but what I do with these controllers every time when I go to reload, constantly hitting the rings.
Yeah.
With these new designed controllers that Sony is creating here, you're not going to run into that issue. The rings are on the outside. They're not going to bump in, and you're going to have greater, freedom of movement while playing. To me, that's exciting.
I'm going to go back to the finger tracking and the finger sensing. The reason why, to me, it's a concern is because, if we're talking about, again, we got a little inside bet going on here where the PSVR 2, I think, will be released by next year. Mm-hmm. And I've got you and Tish thinking it's going to be 2 years.
I want to talk about that in a moment.
No, of course not. I hope everybody votes on that poll. Anyway, no, but I would say my concern is that if you've got basically, I've got finger sense on my Oculus Quest 2 right now. Mm-hmm. And then you're going to tell me in 2 years from now, PlayStation VR 2 is going to come out with that technology too. The timeline doesn't match up. And if you also look at when was the first time that we saw a PlayStation 5 controller, and how long did it take after that before the PlayStation 5 was actually announced and released? I would say it was less than a year. Mm-hmm. They really kept everything very hush, very quiet, very Apple-like. So I don't know, man. That's my concern. If it is going to be 2 years, I'm worried about the technology actually being old at that point. There is bound to be an Oculus Quest 3 that would be out by that point, and who knows what that's going to look like.
On this picture that you're seeing, for those listening, the image that's being shown, there is actually small print in the bottom left corner that says this design is subject to change. I mean, that's what it's essentially saying. That's not verbatim, but it's essentially saying like this could change. This is what they currently have. They do have a prototype. These are the prototypes. This is what they have currently designed and produced to showcase, but this may not be the final design. So I think you're right. I mean, if they are really forward thinking, in which Sony is always thinking about long term. I mean, look how long the PSVR has been around. You know what I'm saying? It's been around since 2016. People are still buying it. People are still using it. It's still a valued headset and competitive headset in the market. If they're forward thinking, they're going to do the same thing with these controllers and maybe think, okay, it might be worth making people pay a little bit more to get this greater immersion. But after having already listened to people talk about these controllers, many users have said that when they use index controllers, they are not really aware of the finger tracking as they would suspect, any more than they are aware of using the grip button on like the Oculus controllers.
Right.
So is the finger tracking, I guess this is my question, and this is very opinion based, is finger tracking really forward thinking and future protected at this point? Or is it a bit gimmicky and for the here and now that kind of gives us a look into like what could happen in the future that is actually next generation?
I mean, as a quick reply, I would say I think it's going to be short-lived. Personally, I think that we've seen. In fact, moving on to the next subject, and I'll bring it all together. Look at my mustache.
It's a me.
It's a me, Red. Bringing on to the next subject, the Omni One. The reason why I'm saying I think that it'll not last very long is because we do have new technologies that are being introduced to commercial and now for residential, things that will go deeper into immersion for VR and AR. And I think that you're going to see haptic gloves be the very next big hit. So as far as being able to see your fingers move around and you can't feel what you're touching inside of VR without that haptic glove. And that's why I think it'll be a short-lived thing.
Yeah, I think the haptic gloves are really what the next step in VR is going to be. Yeah. It really is crossing that fourth dimension boundary, right? Into like bringing real world into virtual world and having them coexist to some degree. And we have Revlox in chat saying finger tracking in PokerStars VR alone is totally worth it. Haven't tried that.
Oh, I haven't tried it either. We got to do that.
I'm totally fucking down for it though.
I'm in.
Beware, I'm good at poker. God, I hope I don't eat my words. But I really want to talk about Omni One today because a lot of people are very aware of the Cat VR. I don't want to say treadmill, but immersive unit. Cat VR was a much bigger piece of equipment that was more commercially friendly, and then they shrunk it down to a player-friendly, in-home kind of piece of technology that you can utilize. Omni One is a competitor in this market. What's up, Raptor? How you doing, man? It's a competitor in this market and is newer. Now, this image in the video that I found was released in October of 2020, whereas the Catwalk VR was released in June, I believe, of 2020. So it was within the same year, a few months apart. But what I like about Omni One that is vastly different than the Catwalk VR is it has the haptic vest attached to it. Mm-hmm. So it's one and the same. So if you can't afford something like B Haptics or the Woofer vest, which can be incredibly expensive, by the way, and stop picking my nose, angry monkey. I see that. What I like about this is kind of one and the same. You get the very specific shoes meant for that walking platform. You have the supportive arm in the back. You get the haptic vest that's attached to that arm that's on a slider, so you can go from standing to kneeling position. Neither the Catwalk VR or Omni One give you the ability to go prone yet. But at least this is a step in the right direction. I think Omni One has one up on Catwalk VR because of this haptic vest. But it's a really cool piece of technology. It's very, very small. It can fit in your room. And God, if I could only get my hands on one, I'd be using it all the time. It looks really, really awesome.
Do you know how much it costs?
Unfortunately, no. I didn't look into that. I'm actually going to look that up now. But the Catwalk VR was quite expensive. I was upwards of around like $800 or something like that. But if you think about it, I mean, you have the Valve.
Than what I thought you were going to say.
The Valve Index was like is like $1,000, right? So let me look up these numbers. And get back to you on that. But what are your thoughts on this piece of technology?
It's very Ready Player One. I already want one. It's one of those things that if you love VR and you just want to do more and more and more of it, this is what you're waiting on. You're waiting on those haptic gloves. You're waiting for this. as much immersion as you possibly can. I think even with stuff like this, and we're still early on to VR. I mean, it's going to be a huge market. It's going to affect everybody's lives eventually. But when you get into stuff like this, good Lord, could you imagine doing something like this and you've got like Onward and you've got the nice rig, or hell, man, let's just imagine like a PSVR 2 that could actually hook up to something like this with your brand new crazy looking aim controller. It's all glowing up and everything. Titch is totally bored during Tech Talk, by the way. If anybody can't tell. No, so I truly think that this is like one of the very first steps toward future gaming and what we'll all be a part of.
So I'm trying to look for the cost here, and surprisingly enough, they still have a variety of different Cat VR treadmills. The mini one they have here, and it could go from people who are 155 centimeters up to 182 centimeters. So like it's got a pretty decent range. I'm not seeing a price here.
What's up, Brown Pit? Big shout out.
I Google searched it. Okay, so like. Let me take a look at this one. It really varies. I saw a price for Omni one. So like here it says Cat VR expects to launch a crowdfunding Kickstarter later this month where backers will be able to secure a Catwalk VR early bird special for $700. But that's the early bird. So that's not exactly what it costs now. I'm sure. Okay, so
$700 for that rig and it comes with a haptic vest and everything?
No. That was for the Cat VR. The Omni VR though, I saw
it's got to be about
much more expensive.
Yeah, I bet $5,000 to $8,000 for that thing.
Oh man, that would be steep.
I mean, even there's a haptic jacket that you can. It's advertised on Facebook everywhere, man.
Here it says set to launch in 2021. The Omni One will be available in 2 versions, which is pretty awesome. For just under $2,000, $1,995 US, or $55 a month with a monthly payment plan, you can get the complete entertainment system, including the treadmill, standalone VR headset, and operating software. So that's pretty dope. $2,000 is still pretty steep, but if you think about what you're getting and the longevity of this product, I mean, and you could do a payment plan. I think that's incredible as well. You don't have to pay $1,000 up front. You could do $55 a month. Who can't afford that right now? I mean, there are some people who can't, but if you're a true VR enthusiast, you've already invested significant amount of money into VR. What is $55 a month to cover the cost of this incredible piece of technology? For me, after seeing that, I might actually consider it. As long as I don't hit my head on my ceiling in here.
I love the idea of it, because this thing is actually, I mean, it's connecting to you. So, I mean, you can't go anywhere. You're there. It almost, and it's strong enough to actually keep your body weight, if I'm right.
Mm-hmm.
Like just for my Oculus, right? Because my Oculus, I call PSVR 2 or PSVR the lazy man VR now, because you can sit down very easily. You can play Firewall all night. You can do all kinds of shit just sitting down. Mm-hmm. The Oculus is not that way. Though every time I get into Oculus and I'm done, I feel like I just worked out. So, and I even bought myself like this like plushy rug. It's just a 5-foot diameter round rug, but it was so I could feel the different textures to make sure, because I got tired of getting close to the boundary and then the whole grid would come up.
Yeah, that's really
just want to have a big boundary and then just stay within that 5-foot diameter. But I mean, just think about that space right there. Like, I want an outside grid outside of a 5-foot diameter. That's a whole room. That's a guest room, basically.
The brilliant thing of this is you wouldn't need a grid.
You wouldn't need that. Yeah,
you're literally walking in place.
Spot. Yeah,
and you have to remember
this shit.
You have to remember that this near $2,000 includes the headset. So if you already have a headset and you don't need that, you can get it without the headset, and it would cost significantly cheaper. So really, the options are there. With a payment plan is doable. I think this is a great option, especially for the haptic vest, because right now you can go into B Haptics, and we already talked about this in the past. You can either get the vest, face mask, you can get the wristbands, you can get the anklets, you could get all this stuff all together in a bundled package for a significant chunk of change, or you can buy one at a time. Here, you get the haptic vest with the catwalk and the shoes, and I mean, it's a good deal if you ask me. $55 a month is pretty doable.
Well, before you spend your money and before you start pulling out your credit card, Facebook has neural wristbands that they just recently showed off. Have you seen the video? There's a video where you can actually see this. Now, they're not showing off. This is basically them showing off their AR technology. So this is them taking off the VR helmet and saying, let's try on some glasses and use our surroundings for whatever we're playing or whatever we're doing. But neural wristbands, so wristbands that go around your wrist and pick up all of your movement and tracking. And the only thing is, in the video, they don't show what the glasses look like.
No.
So I'm really interested to see what that's going to be. But what are your thoughts? What do you think?
So I am concerned, like, they're showing off this technology, which, again, everything we talk about here is forward thinking. I don't know how solid of an idea this is, or how solid of a product this is without existing technology already. I mean, they are using, they're utilizing these wristbands, which look like existing Apple Watches or Galaxy Watches, or like some sort of existing watch technology that we currently have. It's almost like they're recycling the idea and now making them AR accessible, which is cool. But how practical are they?
Yeah, do you really need that?
Do you need it? And if you get it, you would need one for each wrist. So let's say you were to utilize it, and let's say that this did have a practical use. So you come up with a digital keyboard that could technically save into a cloud. And so, like, if you're on the run and you're like, well, shit, I forgot my laptop. Okay, well, all my stuff is in the cloud. I can use these wristbands and access it, and it can produce this digital keyboard with a digital screen, and I can work on whatever right then and there. Fairly practical. Let's say that is the case. Well, you still need, as you had said, the glasses or some way to see this. It's not a hologram. It's not something that's going to project into the air that you can interact with. So you're going to need more technology. How much is it going to cost? Plus, is it this is going to sound really stupid, but is it going to look good? I mean, it's normal to see people walking around with a watch, or nowadays, like a step tracker on their wrist, but now you're going to have one on each wrist. That might be bizarre to some people, but hey,
I'm concerned about the glasses. I am concerned about the glasses, just simply because I would say the closest thing that we have to compare it to right now would be Microsoft HoloLens, which is huge. I mean, as far as if you're going to walk around and wear glasses and say, I want to integrate this into my life, you're not going to walk around with a Microsoft HoloLens. And if you've ever actually tried a HoloLens and played with it, the point of view is like everything's really cool and everything's in 3D and it's just floating in midair. But it does feel, because of the way that the glasses hit, they stay kind of low. So it makes you feel like your POV is really narrowed for some reason. Like, even though you're using all of your surroundings, you can definitely tell the difference between where the lens is and where it ends. They just didn't cover enough of the eye, I think, or the area. But I don't know, man. Without seeing the glasses, it's really hard to be judgy about it, because I don't know how all the technology would integrate. Like, they obviously have a reason for this, where you're going to have these wristbands, and I'm sure it'll have its haptic feedback and fantastic and stuff. But without being able to see that and know more, other than this little video that they showed off, it's up in the air, dude. This is we can dream.
That's what's frustrating for me, is that they're showcasing this technology, which is super exciting. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm being critical about it, but I'm only being critical because existing technology that's necessary for this to function properly and be practical for us as consumers doesn't really exist yet.
Yeah.
So how is it really going to work? I mean, I think that's what I'm most concerned about, is simply like, you're showcasing technology that's supposed to work in tandem with another piece of technology that is still in concept form. It doesn't even truly exist. And you bring up the HoloLens, which is really cool, and it could technically work with the HoloLens, but again, that is a commercial product primarily, and it's still not practical to walk around with. Like you said, it does protrude from the forehead a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and it's projecting onto these lenses, which are about the same size as your typical glass lens. Imagine taking the lenses out of your Oculus right now and then putting them on this piece of technology that sits on your forehead. That's what you get. The
Yeah.
reason why VR is so effective is because you got the magnification from the other lenses that are making the screen look much larger. You won't have that with the HoloLens. So it's cool, but it's not practical right now, and it's building. Excuse me, it's building up hype for what audience?
Yeah, well, I mean, it could be Facebook just taking their own spin on things because, like HoloLens, everything is done with hand gestures. There are no controllers, right? That seems to be the way that some of the bigger companies want to do it. Apple is going to follow in suit with that. When they do release Apple, I would even imagine VR, Apple VR and AR glasses, there's not going to be controllers that's going to go with it. That's another attachment. I'm not saying I'm a big fan of that. Sometimes the hand gestures can be gimmicky. And there's no way in hell I would want to buy a first edition anything from Apple without them, because next year it'll be twice as fast and twice as good and, twice as better. So I would still wait a year no matter what. But I don't know. Maybe it's Facebook saying, we're going to do our own direction. Like you guys are going to do the hand gestures and do all of that. We've got this way of doing it. And maybe we just don't know the full extent of the technology yet. Maybe it's deeper than what we know.
Probably, but let's look at what Facebook is trying to do with Oculus and hand recognition, right? With the Quest and Quest 2.
Yeah.
That still isn't optimized to perfection. Like they still have work to do. They have really cool apps where you can it's got pretty good tracking, but also think about the scale. The scale of the hands is generic for everybody. So if you have large hands, it doesn't matter. Your hands are small in what you see. So it's still not perfected. I think they need to focus efforts on perfecting that and making it functional for the VR consumer, rather than just also investing money and resources into this new technology that doesn't have a space yet. I mean, that's just kind of my thought. Build on what you have that already has a consumer base and perfect that, and maybe you won't even need the wristbands. Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, speaking of build and Oculus, wanted to give a quick little update. We did a show about basically me buying an Oculus Quest 2, and what
Sweet
it was
episode.
like.
Check it out.
Yeah, it was a really good episode, especially guys like VI Skulls. I know he's talking about getting an Oculus Quest 2. Freshbone watched the show. He got an Oculus Quest 2, and he took off some tips from some of the stuff that we talked about. But just reaching over here. So with my Oculus Quest 2, the latest update is we talked about the Holo, let me pull this up here, the Holo strap that kind of makes it feel more like a PSVR headset. Then I changed out the masking here and where it's got more vent and able to let cool air in, so don't get too hot. And then this is the masterpiece right here. This guy right here. Let's see. Yep, there we go. Oh, yeah, I was only supposed to press it once. So this is VR Power. And last time that we talked about this, we were only able to basically just show pictures of it because it had not arrived yet. Since then, I've got it. This battery was actually made for the Oculus Elite strap. So if you have that, it's already set up and ready for you. I do not have that. I have a third party, wannabe nice strap. And I would say there's no way in shit I would ever own this Oculus without this strap. So it's not a piece of shit. It looks like a piece of shit, but it actually is very nice and changed everything. But this VR Power, my thing is that I finally had gotten this set up where it's comfortable and I can play for a long period of time. And then right when I was getting into it, sorry guys, my battery's going dead because I've only got 2.5 hours of playtime on this Oculus. And that's everything. That's watching TV on big screen. And that's also playing golf with my buddies. And then after that, us go shooting some bitches and onward. So I needed more time. Because of this little device, it gave me an extra 8 hours of play. I have a total of, and technically, I have a total of 10 hours of just straight streaming on big screen now. And I have a total of 8 hours of gameplay for this $60 battery. Now, if you go out and you go look, you can go get a $20 battery. It's just not going to have the power behind this. You're going to end up spending $40 on that. Well, by the time that you buy the external battery, it's probably a big block or whatever, then you need to either Velcro the shit out of it, or you're going to end up wanting a mount because you want it to counterbalance on your head. So to me, dude, it was just worth the money. It was designed for this. It worked out well on the Halo strap. Fit right in. I didn't have any issues. And ever since then, I literally play as long as I can. And I've never been able to make the battery go dead. Not once. I can't play that long. 10 hours with an Oculus headset on. Might be a challenge we can play one time on Tech Talk and talk about our experience, but not today.
I'm totally down for that. You know what sold me on it was and not only everything that you just said, but you also said that you'll never have to unplug it or anything. You literally put the charging cable into the VR power, and it charges not only the VR power pack, but also the Oculus battery pack that is inside the headset. So like you never have to take this fucking thing off. That is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So you charge it with it on, and then you use it to extend the battery life to upwards between 8 to 10 hours, depending on what you're doing. I mean, that's brilliant. It was so convincing. I bought one, and it's coming in. I just got the message that it is being shipped. It's on the way, so I should have that within a week's time. But I was always on the fence about things because I never really saw reviews. And sometimes reviews are kind of hard to trust, but your personal experience and having known you, it convinced me. So it's coming in. Oh, yeah. I'm super excited for it, man.
That's awesome. So you're actually the second person. So, I mean, that's really awesome. Like Freshbone ended up getting an Oculus Quest 2, and then he ended up getting, going with a different face mask, and he ended up getting a Halo strap. He hasn't gotten a battery yet, but just from recommendations and stuff like that, everybody loves it that I know of. He's super happy with it. So Skulls is next.
Nick says, "What is it? I want one. It's a VR power pack for your Quest/Quest 2. It's pretty dope. It sounds very reasonably priced for what it does and how much it extends the life of your Quest and your gameplay. When I am playing with my Quest and it as a standalone product, I really do want it to last. And because I don't have a sufficient battery pack, I'm always thinking about, when is it going to die? When is it going to die? And then I get the notification, your battery's about, and then like my screen starts stuttering and buffering, and like it's terrible and it's jarring. I can't wait. I'm going to put this thing on the headset and I'm going to leave it. Yeah, VR also, power pack, man.
Just to throw this out and to remember, we'll have the link at the bottom of our show, and it's also from episode 4, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Okay, episode 4. You can also get a full review on the details and the shipping and everything. They do kind of screw you on the shipping, just as a heads up. Yeah, rebuffreality, I think, .com, and then you'll see as one of the things that they sell is called VR Power. One of the things I didn't know, there's 3 ports at the top, just like Wolf was talking about. One port, the far right port, is actually for the power. So like he said, it's charging both the headset and the battery at the same time, so you never have to take it off. The middle one actually is the main cord that actually comes with the battery. So you don't even have to go out and buy the Oculus special side cord that's USB-C. It already comes with it. So to me, that was more value that come with it. And it also come with some specialized clips that was made just for the middle strap, and it keeps the wire nice and taut, nice and tight, and basically in place. It just looks like it was made for it.
What's really cool,
great.
Man,
they did a great job.
When I first Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Now, Titch is in our ear, and he just made a good point. The bad point is that this third port over here, that is now where basically the wire that connects to your PC, that's where that plugs in now. So no longer in the front, on the side, it goes in the back. But technically, because of the design of it, I mean, you could rerun your cord, but it's basically going to go straight down on top. And what you're going to get is that, which is bad. You'll have a cord going straight down and a little crook. I'm okay with this because there's not a flex because it's being held in the in this little port here, this little cable holder that Titch doesn't care, but Nick does, and that's why I'm going to continue. Oh, sweet. Yeah, that's even better. So that's about the only con, and they're shipping. I'm not going to let them down on this. $60 value for a battery, the clips, the cord. That's a damn good value. And then they hit you up for $20 shipping.
I completely forgot I've had my headset on this whole time. So I'm going to have to charge it again. But I want to point out, like, this power pack came out when the Quest 1 was, or the original Quest model was released. And it's hard to tell from here, but it kind of looks like that's what's on screen. But you can see the back of this, right? The VR power pack would sit perfectly right there on the back of the headset. Like, I think when they had designed it, it was designed around this general design for the VR headset. So, like, I'm super excited to get it. But either way, it's whether you have the Quest or the Quest 2, it's perfect. You want to just turn on your
microphone? Turn all right, so when you actually go onto the website and look at it, I'm probably really loud. So it asks you for your headset version, whether it be Quest Original, Quest 2, or Quest 2 with an Elite strap. So I'm assuming you get specific clips or some specific layout depending on what strap you're using.
Oh, yeah, that's really cool.
And I end up buying the one for the Elite strap, just as a FYI. This was something that I was worried about, but I spent the money. I knew it would pretty much work. I can always Velcro the shit out of it if I needed to, but it did work out. I couldn't find anything on YouTube. I tried to do some research on it. Couldn't find anything on YouTube as far as, is this going to work well with a Halo strap, a third-party Halo strap? And I couldn't be happier. Like, I seriously would never, ever. My wife wants an Oculus Quest 2 now, and when I buy her one, I'm going to buy this battery again, like, without a doubt. So
it's almost necessary. A lot of guys, if you have not listened to our 4th episode, please go do so. Rad does a really good breakdown for, like, if you're a first time, or if you're on the fence about even buying it, or you're a first time user of the Quest 2 and you're like, man, it's just not, there's something wrong with it. I can't quite put my finger on it. Go listen to that, please, because it was incredibly informative, even for someone who has owned a Quest for a while now. Hearing from a person's perspective who owns a Quest 2, it's pretty night and day. And he gives you kind of an idea of, like, what you should be looking for to make for the best experience. So go check out episode 4. We have it over here on our Twitch channel. We have it over on YouTube. Just look under not compilations. That's not the word I'm looking for. But collections. Thank you. Yep. Look under collections. There's a Tech Talk series, and also over on our YouTube channel, there's a Tech Talk series for under that category. And then go to Spotify or any other podcast provider out there. We should be there. Search for us, AHC Tech Talk, and listen to that, because it was incredibly informative. I loved that conversation. I still go back and listen to it, man. I still go back and listen to it.
Very cool. You, like, listen to it at night before you go to sleep?
No, in my car when I'm driving from client to client. Yeah, I listen to it all the time. Yeah.
All right, moving on to the next subject.
Puts me to sleep.
Okay, so basically we've got on this next subject, we've got about PlayStation stores. PlayStation just announced that they have decided no longer to sell any games for the PlayStation 3, the PlayStation Vita, or Portable, it was worded that way, in their stores. It will no longer be available August 27th. there's some pros and cons to this. There's actually a lot of cons in my personal opinion, but there's a nasty little rumor that's going along with this. Like, why the hell would PlayStation do that? And right now the rumor is that PlayStation is going to open up the PlayStation 5 to be truly backward compatible and be able to play PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, and the all-new PlayStation 5 games on one console. They're basically kind of doing what a Nintendo did. Nintendo has their own little setup now where you can go play some old school shit on a brand new device.
And Microsoft with its current XPass.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So it seems like it is the trend and that PlayStation is following suit. Again, right now it's just a rumor. If it doesn't come to fruition, man, that sucks. I own a PlayStation Vita, and it's going to be really shitty that I can't just get onto the store and buy anything anymore. Another problem with any type of PlayStation handheld device that they have ever tried, they give it some love, and then they drop the son of a bitch. They make sure you buy it first, and then they don't do anything after that. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on that, man?
I'm in the same boat. Yeah. It's depressing. It's utterly depressing because Sony not only created the PS Portable, which, by the way, was awesome technology in its time. Like, I don't want, like, why they didn't capitalize on that when they had the opportunity. Sure, Nintendo had Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color. Like they had the 3DS. They had those. Those were great. But look at the fucking size of the screen on those things. They're small.
Yeah.
Like, they were really cool. People loved them. 3DS is still the highest selling portable device for gaming, period, in the market. So, like, I get that Sony was like, well, that's really hard to compete against, and we are highly dominant in the console area, so we should probably focus more on there. I get it from a business perspective, but then why the fuck make the Vita?
Yeah, man. They made the damn Vita.
Why would you go from the PSP and be like, okay, well, Nintendo is dominating the handheld market, but you know what? Okay, so let's focus a little bit more on consoles. Oh wait, PS3 launched like shit because we decided to sell it at $600. It was not the greatest technology in the world. Okay, let's make a Vita. Let's try the handheld market again. Yeah. And it fucking, like, they didn't do much with it. Well, I love my Vita. I think it's super cool. I think it's innovative. What I didn't like about it was that they made very specific SD cards that cost as much as a console game. $60 for like 40. I think 40 was the lowest costing SD card for storage, like for memory.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even that much. And then you had to pay even more for more storage. I think that was where they fucked people. You made it so specific for the Vita console that people couldn't digitally download anything. And then they had to buy the hard copy of the games, which, by the way, cost a lot. And a lot of games weren't digital. Like, a lot of those games, or a lot of the games were digital. I mean, like, they didn't go into a hard copy. So it was very hard to get a game on the Vita. Now, their biggest selling point was that you could link it to your PlayStation 4 and play your PlayStation 4 games. Brilliant, except when you're on a plane.
Exactly.
Or when you're in the car. Like, you can't connect it to the PS4 from that distance, obviously. So, like, it had its limitations, but it's a beautiful piece of technology. I love playing like Soul Sacrifice on it, which is like a Monster Hunter kind of thing, but darker. By the way, amazing story in that game. Or the God of War series, which I have downloaded. Like, it's a great piece of equipment that they underutilized, hyped up. They hyped it up, underutilized it, and now it's dead in the water. Like,
yeah. I would think twice if they came out with any type of handheld device. I'm telling you, I would be probably the last one in line to buy that. I bought a PlayStation, a PSP, which, if anybody remembers, like, I had the very first one. So it had the disc. They had to slide into the back. The shit I had to carry around just to be able to play all the games whenever I wanted to. Then I went out for some reason and I said, I'm going to upgrade and I'm going to get rid of all these discs and I'm going to go full digital and go with the PS Vita. Now, at the time, it was like a lifesaver, man. I was traveling. Yes, a shitload of them, just stacks of them. It's crazy.
Look at this. That one. Look at how many PSP games I have right here, right?
And what do you do with them?
You have these UMD discs, right? Like, it's kind of hard to see, but look at those UMD discs, right?
Yeah.
And then they go to the Vita, right? Here's my Soul Sacrifice game. And they reduce it to like something, it's not in there because I still have in my Vita, but look at the size difference.
Yeah.
But like,
I don't know, man. So, but when I had my Vita, I was doing basically as the example you gave. I mean, I'm traveling up and down the East Coast. I'm on a plane all the time. So my Vita was a lifesaver, dude. I loved it. Especially, you can't do the whole Wi-Fi internet thing on the airplane unless you want to pay extra for it. So shit, I'll just tune out and turn the cell phone off and play some Vita. But then they just stopped showing love for it, dude. And anything that they can't, there's a lot of like anime shit on there. Like I get it, but like give me some of that classics, baby. Give me something to do with it. And they just never did. And so I would be hesitant. But so it really sucks. I really do hope that that rumor does come true, that they are just going to open up everything. So any game you've ever played, ever wanted to do it again, you don't have to break out an old console, play it on your PlayStation 5.
Yeah, and I want to talk about that point just a little bit because, like, I get it. The PS3 was not Sony's brightest era. It was kind of
too complicated.
It was an unfortunate generation for Sony. It didn't pan out well to start, and then it wasn't the best-selling console. It was loud. Even the Slim, which I have, was still loud. The loading time took forever. The graphics weren't nearly up to par. Xbox 360 definitely beat Sony that year. But what it really comes down to, and what concerns me the most, is it's Sony once again saying, why do you want to play old games? Think about the future. And I'm paraphrasing there, but that's essentially what they have said in the past. Like Jim Ryan had said, like, why do people want to play old games? Like, why don't you want to play the new games? Because there's a nostalgia piece. When my wife and I had our kid, and I was on leave for that, I went back to my PS2 and I played all the Onimusha games again because I freaking loved them. Like, I love that series. So, like, when you take away the opportunity to play some of those titles again, you're taking away a piece of people's history. I know they attempted with the store in the past to bring back PS2 titles, but they're only going to highlight and bring back the ones that are most popular, like the the Final Fantasy series, for example, or Killzone series, or Resident Evil. Like, we've already seen the remakes with Resident Evil. They're giving love to that. They tried revitalizing Onimusha. They brought Onimusha to the to PlayStation 4, but like nothing else from that. They're only going to bring back the ones that got the most love. What happens to all the other ones? And with PS Now, which also seems to be dying, they're not going to be able to do what Microsoft is doing with XPass. They're not going to be able to do it because, I mean, from a business perspective, they're wasting money on maintaining these servers. I totally get that, but from a perspective of like love and nostalgia for these games, like, you're taking away that history and you're taking away the accessibility for newer generations who are coming in and like, I wonder what games are like. I wonder what they were like and where they've come from,
I mean, but I'll say this though. I've got a PlayStation 5, and honestly, like I said, I think I've said this before in the past. I kind of want to feel a little stuck up about it. Like, I'm waiting for a PlayStation 5 game. I don't want a PlayStation 5 and 4 game. I just want a PlayStation 5 game.
Yeah, man.
The true exclusive, throw the max amount of power you can at this machine. I want to see what it can really do. I don't like the idea of, personally, that I spent so much money to be able to play the same game that I can still play on my Pro. Now I can see reflections. It's just, it is fascinating. It is, but I would say this. I just heard today about EA Sports Boxing. If you're into boxing, I highly suggest anybody look this up. EA Sports Boxing, if you get a minute. There's a video that was released, just a very quick video of what a new boxing fight. This is a PlayStation 5 exclusive game, and what a boxing fight is going to look like. And it's ridiculous. It literally looks like they stuck people in there and made them just like do a million different motions. It looks so real. It's the craziest thing. I got to move on. Here we go. We're running late on time here. Last subject of the night is Apple announcement. Apple announced their next conference for June the 7th. Now, nobody really knows what they're going to be talking about. Everybody's got predictions. They're probably right on the predictions as far as the basics. They have their new M1 chip. That's their kind of new really big thing that they're shining off. It's supposed to be a badass processing chip. They're going to show off supposedly some new Macs, a brand new design. If you're into that, they're supposedly going to show off a new Apple Watch. It's either going to be really square now instead of curved. And there's a rumor that there's going to be a round watch face that they've been talking about forever. Major thing that hits me is the only reason why I even wanted to mention Apple is when they announce their conferences, they always give you like little bitty hints about what the conference is going to be about, or talking subjects or talking topics. What caught my eye, and there is a rumor about this, it's probably not true. It's probably a horrible, horrible rumor. But I'm very optimistic about it. So here we go. If you can check out this video, or this, not video, but this picture that we're looking at. Which one are we looking? Let's see. We're looking at the guy. Both pictures that we're going to show you, you've got one that announces, it says WWDC 21, and they're basically saying, hey, this is going to be done on June the 7th, okay? And this is, whatever it reads right there. I don't give a shit. Main thing is that he's wearing glasses, and you can see a reflection as if like they're gonna, and you can see like somewhat of a laptop, a little slant like in front of them, like they're gonna redesign the Mac, and the iOS operating system is gonna be up to 15 now if you know anything about that. What hits me weird is that character that they made is wearing glasses with a reflective where you can see the calendar, and you can see another app in their eye. Mm-hmm. On the other picture, where it's the little redhead chick, same thing, different glasses, a little bit different shape, but same thing, same reflection. So if you actually zoom in, this is the other thing that really hit me weird. If you zoom in on that little chick's eye, you can see that image that's reflecting on the bottom half of that glass is also being either reflected to her retina or pushed to her retina. I don't know. It's just ironic that both characters are wearing glasses. Both of them have reflections in their glasses.
Can I suggest something?
We know that they are going to say something about Apple VR. I mean, they should. They made a big announcement about it. So the things that we do know and the things that they're working on, maybe they're ahead of schedule, or maybe they just want to let everybody know what they've been working on. But this is probably not true. But mm-hmm. I do actually have my fingers crossed. I want to see, because Apple is not the creator of anything. Apple says that they take things and make them work the way that they really should, and they make them better. So we've seen Microsoft HoloLens. We've been talking about the Facebook wristbands, but we didn't get to see the glasses for that. Again, wishful thinking, bad rumors, but I at least wanted to update everybody. This is something that I caught. I don't know if it means shit, but I think that Apple might talk about Apple AR glasses June the 7th. And if they do, that's going to be very big news.
So
really quick, Titch here with your local
this guy
Blender render guru for AHC. So what I see when I look at this render is
tear it down.
Well, I'm just gonna say we render
looking at red.
So we render in what's called cycles, and that's what gives you that true looking image. But what cycles does is it's the equivalent of ray tracing. So you're sending out thousands, or depending on what your settings are, you're sending out thousands of rays from the camera, and they're reflecting off of surfaces to see where they land, and they will bring that image back to those locations. So what I'm looking at, as far as I see, is something that has a reflective surface and a render that is run in cycles, and it is, because, as you said, but if you look, it's also on the other glass. If you look at the other glass,
yep,
it's also, you can see it just in the corner, but not fully, but just the corner of the date.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that takes away, to me, the fact of this is a HoloLens image or some sort of AR glass image that's projecting into the eye, because it's cut off on the other side.
Yes, but no. So 2 points in contrast to that. One, to that last point. If it is truly AR glasses, you have to get a full image, and you're not going to get a full image if it's just projecting from one lens.
You're not going to get an image if it's chopped into an eighth of an image.
But that's how VR works. It splits the image.
It would have to be split image.
So it has to, because both your vision has to.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is you don't see it on the other glasses.
You don't see that.
Well, exactly. It could arguably be the angle too. Like we're not getting the full frontal perspective of what.
If it was okay, based on the angle, you are on an angle.
Marketing. So if they're being very intentional with their marketing, they would remove anything that would bring up any kind of
and yet here you are zooming into a fucking image.
Well, just saying, like, marketing and people in marketing from a marketing perspective are very critical about these things. Now, Apple being who they are, they spend a lot of money on marketing and technology. They're not going to flub this up to a point where people are now speculating or saying or criticizing to a point where, like, hey, you're lying to us. Apple's never really done that. As Rad was saying, they say that they are the kings of making things the way they should function and the way they should look, and they're not going to market something that is going to raise eyebrows and make us question, like, hey, well, I think you're misleading us with this image. I don't think that they would do that. And this is coming from someone who fucking hates Apple.
All right.
I am not an Apple guy.
All I'm saying is that I'm not saying they're not going to talk about Apple glasses or whatever. They might do so. But what I'm saying,
by the way,
is extrapolating it from this image, digging into a reflection off of glasses, even if they do talk about it, is not indicative, because of the icon on the glasses or reflection. If that was the case, that icon would be visible on the other lens.
Technically, it is.
It's not.
But it is.
Technically, it is.
Technically, it is, because of the angle of her face. And look at this. We're talking about a cartoon.
Yeah, I know.
And the angle
so here
of
we are.
Can I explain to you how?
If it was, this is the controversy. This is the
right.
Okay, I would agree with you. I would agree with you on the angle if this image, if that red was further over to center. Instead, it's not. It's cut off. And then it would
be a dead giveaway, and then you would know exactly what they are. And
which is why. But a glass, now, if you look at regular glasses, they have a slight curve to them, right? So, and this is why I say, based on doing render cycles, I'm telling you that it's not. They're not doing that as an intentionary purpose. That is a byproduct of render cycles. 100%. That's a.
So, I mean, there's also Photoshop, so like that could easily be taken out. But I'm just saying. So, like, Titch, we're not like necessarily disagreeing with you, but we're not agreeing with you either. I think the problem.
I think you're reaching for straws.
Well, I think the problem
it's a stretch.
That this image is the antithesis of rumor.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
At the beginning of this announcement, we did say this is probably a horrible rumor, and it's probably not true. And Titch probably is right.
I agree. I'm playing devil's advocate.
But like, I'm not saying that they're not going to talk about it. I think that it's you're doing the classic throw celery into the air, see how it lands, and try to predict the future based on the image it creates.
Because we all know.
I mean, look, if they throw celery into the air, Titch.
If they don't come out with if they don't come out with AR glasses this year, they will be announced by next year. This is technology they've been working on for a long time. They've invested on engineers and specialists to be able to keep up with this and to make it innovative.
For the record, this is how conspiracy theories start.
No, there's no conspiracy to this. I'm telling you for a fact there are going to be Apple AR
glasses. I just meant the digging deep into the image and like it's going to be 3-dimensional glasses.
I think it's looking at the image and just taking it for what it is. There's so many questions based on this image, even this zoomed image. So I want to bring up another point. They are using a 3D cartoonish model to present a product.
Yes.
That's not how you present a product in marketing. No. So again, like Titch brings up a valid point from what he's done. If you guys see everything here, he's fucking done. Okay. Like, so we're not in a place to say, hey, Titch, you're wrong. Okay. Yep. Just pointing that out. And that is exactly, and I am not saying that. And I know Rad's not saying that, but from a consumer standpoint, and from a marketing standpoint, when you look at this is one, if you're promoting a product, this is not how you do it. Mm-hmm. And two, let's say this is how you're doing it. If you're doing it this way, every single bit, every single detail is done with intention. So what is this telling us?
Exactly.
And knowing it's coming from Apple means they're going to market things with intention. And every little detail matters. So what do these details? What do these details say?
And that's I say, like I agree. The glasses part, I completely agree with glasses. What I'm disagreeing with is the digging into the actual image of the reflection off of the eye and saying, like it may very well be because they're both wearing glasses. I'm not disputing that. Like I said, they could very well talk about it. My issue is the in-depth analysis of the reflection, and that's what's bothering me.
I'm telling you, the reason why it caught my attention, because I'm not the one who was like, "Oh, look at this shit." It caught my attention. There was talk about the Apple AR glasses, especially when it just got announced about this conference. There's been some rumor about it because it is an anticipated item, just like Apple VR. It's an anticipated item. So, and we still don't know what it looks like. Well, the only thing that we've seen is basically blueprints and a side view, but it's just a drawing. We still don't even know what the actual hardware looks like, but we know it's out there. And as far as, I do agree with Apple and their marketing. It is probably the best marketing in the world. That's how they got to their size. They made things better, even down to opening a box. That a lot of companies change the way that they ship their products based on how Apple gave that experience to you on opening a box.
There's something satisfying about that, I must say.
There is, but I'm just saying, if you're anticipating something from Apple, you know that technology is coming out there. And when they announce conferences, they don't market any technology that hasn't been announced yet. They give you subtle little baby hints for you to think about. Me personally, if there aren't any Apple AR glasses that are announced during the conference, it's still a win on Apple because it made us look and it made us think and it made us talk about it. And it's still an anticipated item.
One of the things that Nick says is it looks like the apps are 3D. On the left side, the apps are stacked. So if you look over on
that,
okay. So if you look actually on this side here, if you look on this side here, you'll see that we have the calendar, and then we have this blue section. Yeah, and if you look on the eye, and if you look on this eye, and if you look on the side, we have this in the middle, and then the blue part sort of on the corner of the ring, or like the iris, on the edge there. Now, on the other side, if you look at it, there's the start of that blue one right there.
Yep.
So this is the start of that. And if you look at based on where the calendar is shifted to the right from where it was.
Yes.
And so that blue that's right in the middle of the pupil is actually the same blue that's over here, but just shifted. That's why it looks stacked. It's the exact same mirror image.
It's the same exact image, yes.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
when we're talking about marketing and what images you sell, to your consumer base, we have to think about exactly what is on or in the image. If this was a new computer or if this was a new phone, we'd see it. We wouldn't see the reflection of the screen. They are clearly trying to showcase these glasses.
That's the most obvious thing to me.
It's borderline subliminal. Borderline. It's not subliminal because it's very salient. It's right fucking there in our face. Hey, we're looking at technology. The only thing you see are glasses. What could that imply? AR fucking glasses. It's very salient. If it were, like I said, if it was another piece of technology, we'd see it. So maybe the reflection isn't the best argument, but at the same time, if they were showcasing another piece of technology, will we see the reflections in the pupils and the iris? I doubt it.
Can I throw an idea out?
1 second. When Rad had said the images on the glasses are projecting onto the pupil and the iris, that is a clear indication in marketing talk. This is what the glasses are doing. They're taking the image from the glasses and projecting them onto your eyes, even though that would naturally happen. You wouldn't do that in marketing. You wouldn't, unless it was intentional. And in this case, with how Apple markets things, everything they do is intentional and every little detail matters. All right, Titch, go ahead.
All right, can we go back and look at this image real quick? So you'll see here, and I'll try to... I don't know.
This was supposed to be the last topic, by the way.
Yeah, I didn't really crop this. Anyway, so you'll see this wonderful laptop that's right in front, and I know that everybody's just gonna ignore the fact that there's a laptop there, and we're just gonna focus on the glasses. But there is a laptop there.
Yes.
Now, for anybody I know this is Tech Talk, and I know that you guys don't give a shit about PCs. Like Nick, what's a PC?
But what's a PC?
There is a lot of talk in the PC because I stay up to date with the PC stuff. There's a lot of talk about the M1 ARM chips. Apple is moving into those. There's a semiconductor shortage in the world right now, which is why GPUs are short. Wafers are limited. But yeah, the ability that they have right now to output their own and control their own CPU output is a big thing, and the performance that's been reported from the ARM chips is actually very good. They dropped Intel. Like, that says something.
That's a huge fucking deal.
When you drop
Intel is like the largest distributor. Period.
Yeah.
So you drop Intel, you've taken up your own, knowing full well that a lot of programs, and so now we're digging into what architecture of CPUs, but a lot of programs that will run on Intel because they're x86 chips will not run on ARM.
Yeah.
So you're having developers having to redo.
Yeah.
This to me looks like a new OS and a whole new ARM laptop setup. What Rad is on Apple right now, what he's used to using, is going to be completely different, and it's going to be whatever the fuck we're looking at in those glasses. You want a reflection? I'm saying the reflection is the laptop itself. That's
it.
My
probably is. That's the thing. It probably is.
So, Titch, before you go completely silent, here's my question to you, and this will be my last question because, again, I think every point that's being made is valid because there is no concrete evidence or disclosure that this is anything real.
Yeah.
But here's my question. If you are a marketer and you're like, hey, we want to showcase this new product or showcase this new line that isn't Intel anymore, why would you portray this image?
Well,
why wouldn't you showcase the laptop?
Well, you see the laptop, right?
Oh, they wouldn't do that.
Yeah, but it's not front and center.
It's not. But what
they wouldn't do that.
And what my other point was the OS. I have a feeling they're changing the OS.
They are.
So the reflection is sort of a sneak peek as to how you're similar to like desktop icons.
They are.
And that to me is what I see. based on knowing how the reflections, like you're looking at the reflection off of the laptop. The laptop's slightly closed, which means they're kind of hiding it. Like, look at the angle of the laptop. Why isn't the laptop open? Like, you want images? That's to me was like, it's like they're looking. It's just opening up. Like it's about to be revealed. Like that.
It's Apple playing with my mind, man.
That to me says more than fucking.
But it's not just the reflections. Again, we're focusing heavily on the reflections. Why are they portraying?
But that's what I said. The reflection. But I said But I said right from the get-go, the reflections are not. I don't believe the reflections are about the glasses themselves. I believe the reflection is a reflection, and that was the issue I had.
What about the artificial face? What about the whole artificial feel of this? Why are they projecting this image in their marketing campaign?
I'd love to answer that. Was it not Apple 1984?
Is that the last time you owned an Apple device?
No, it didn't.
Boy, got him.
Hold on.
Got him.
What was that Apple commercial? Actually, you might remember it as the one that Fortnite
or whatever.
That might be the one that Fortnite kind of ripped off. Like, it had that sort of cartoony feel, and I think that's what they're playing off of.
Oh, callback. Okay, maybe, perhaps. Yeah.
Now, I will say this. If you do follow Apple, if you love Apple, if you really, really follow Apple, and every time that they give out an announcement for a conference, like I said, they give out little hints, but it is very little hints. That's why I said, like, if they're going to be showing off a new Mac or a new MacBook Pro laptop, they're not going to show you that in the conference marketing confirmation, basically. They're going to give you little baby hints about what they're going to talk about. And even what was phrased, let me see what was phrased in that picture, where they'll give you little hints, but there's no way in shit you're going to see new product. Get ready for an all online experience coming June 7th. So that alone could just be where the last conference that they did was actually a virtual conference, and they went all around the spaceship that they have where Apple's located in California, and did these virtual tours and virtual people, so nobody had to get close.
That's another thing why it could look like that too. It's avatarish. It's avatarish. It's online. It's look at Microsoft there. Was it Microsoft that did that one with who was it? Yeah, it was Microsoft that did their augmented reality HoloLens, and they had people in the stands that are all avatars and stuff like that. Like that's to me.
Yeah, Facebook did that with their new. It's supposed to be similar to PlayStation's Home. It's called Horizons, I think. You know what I'm talking about? Where it's like a huge community hub where you can access everything. They used avatars in all their commercialing venues, like showcasing what it could look like and what you can do in it. So I totally get it.
Apple in general seems avatar-y. Like, even their logo is kind of avatar-y. Like, you can't tell me that an avatar-looking head, a 3D modeled head, doesn't just say Apple on its own.
What's going on, Kemp? Man, you came in at the very last minute of the show, dude. We're going over some Apple stuff. Don't really know, man. We'll know June 7th for sure.
Yeah. That's three nerds' opinions, man.
It really is, dude. I don't want to hype anybody up. I'm just saying, if you follow Apple, Apple AR glasses are projected to come out next year. Apple VR was projected to come out this year. So they're coming out with two big pieces of technology. One of them's predicted and hasn't even been announced. But I'm just saying, to me, it does look like it's being set up for that special saying, just one more thing. So with that being said, I want to thank everybody in the audience for attending us tonight and watching us all the way through another Tech Talk episode.
It was a long one, baby.
It was a good one. We had lots of stuff to talk about, lots of people chatting in there. So always hope you guys come back. Again, if you did miss the show, like Camp Kid Kill, he can always go back to YouTube or Twitch or even Spotify now and listen to us while he's going down the road and get caught up that way. And also, if you are interested in some of this gear, look at that. AmateurHourCommentary.com. You can get a hold of your own sweaty.
Swag.
Swag. Swag would have been better.
Swag, baby.
Yeah, you probably don't want to buy Sweaty unless they're my special meatballs.
Yeah.
You have to try my sweaty balls there.
Which you only get from Raise Energy, baby.
That's exactly right. Get Raise Energy drink. AHC code. Get 10% off. Love you guys. Thanks again. I hope you come back again. Titch, thanks for fucking with us the whole time, man. You did a great job on production, even with the extra little stuff. It was awesome.
I don't know what I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Don't look at the Koopa going across the desk, across my nameplate right now. Well, thank you again, sir. I appreciate you being here and for your full opinion on things. It's always great to get your opinion, as always. And with that, I got to say goodnight, guys. Thanks again. Peace.
Peace.